Welcome to Backstage with Becca B with special guest Victor Carrillo Tracey. Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of Backstage with Becca B. On this episode, this Boston Conservatory grad is from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, has been in the Broadway run of Karate Kid the Musical, plus regional shows like The Chorus Line and The Prom. He recently made his Broadway debut in The Outsiders, where he's a swing and understudies Darrel, Sodapop, Paul, plus he covers 3 other ensemble tracks. Please welcome Victor Carrillo Tracey. Wearing my outsider shirt and everything.
Oh yeah, good to see it.
Good to see you too. I actually got to see you in the show.
Oh wow, when did you see it?
I saw it in June.
Oh nice. Who was I playing that day?
You were playing Darrel.
Okay, cool, awesome.
I was really excited to have you on today.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course, of course. Thanks for joining. So, first of all, I want to ask, like, how have you been? It's been a crazy year for you. Broadway debut.
Yes. Hold on, sorry, I'm gonna put this on Do Not Disturb here.
All good, all good.
Good. I've been great. Hold on. Sorry. Sorry,
No, it's
sorry.
all good.
I've been really good. The show has been fantastic, obviously, and we've been received so beautifully by so many people. And so it's a blessing to go into work every day and just, um, have that be the reception to our show. And it's the best job in the world when you get to go in and finish your shift and have people, stand up and clap for you. So I'm super, super grateful for that. And everybody in the building is fantastic. And it's just been the most ideal Broadway debut ever. So
I mean, everyone in this cast is just like feels like so genuinely friendly,
yes,
which I feel
yes,
like contributes a lot to how much the fans love the show.
yeah,
Like, I think
yeah.
they would have loved the show, period. But like, it brings it up a level to see so many genuine people on stage.
Absolutely. I think that was super intentional by our brilliant director Ganya. I know when I had my got close to my final callback, it started the I almost said interviews, but they almost were. The audition started more as interviews. And so she sat us down and really talked us and asked us personal questions about, who we are and how we got to this moment and, why are we doing what we're doing. And it caught me so off guard in the beginning. I was like, oh, what is, crazy. But I imagine I've heard from everybody that she does that. Anybody that's she's seriously considering to put in the show, she wants that, check that they're a heart forward human first. And so that makes a big difference, I think.
Yes, yes, it definitely does.
Yeah.
So, speaking of how like you got here and stuff, I want to ask, have you always known that you wanted to be a theater performer? Like, when was the moment that you realized?
Yeah, I knew I wanted to be a performer. I've always loved, I grew up, my dad was a musician, and he owns his own marketing company now. My mom was a salsa dancer. She's from Colombia. So I always had this either jazz or salsa Colombian music in the house. I came to that very quickly, and all that I would do before I went to school, when I was old enough to go to school, was just watch like concerts and like Luis Miguel, who's a famous Mexican singer, and Eric Clapton and all these just video. I just love watching people perform. So I thought I wanted to do that for a while. And I was a guitar player, and I thought that's the route that I wanted to go. And then one of my I was doing and I did musical theater. I loved musical theater, but I didn't know that I was super gung ho about it until somebody I was doing a show with was going to take over the high school performing arts department in our town, and I was in 8th grade, so I wasn't even in high school yet. And his first show was going to be Tommy, and so he explained to me, he's like, "I would love for you to come and do Tommy, even though you're not in high school level yet." And I was like, "All right, I don't really know what that is, but I guess I'll look it up." And so I went to YouTube and looked online and saw what Tommy was with the original cast of Michael Cerveris. And man, I fell in love because I love rock music, performing. I love dancing, and to feel that completely, I hadn't found a piece of musical theater that felt like it fit me perfectly. And then when I saw Tommy, just on video, I was like, this is incredible. If I can do stuff like this, then this is what I want to do because it's the perfect culmination of everything that I love. And the Outsiders feels when I perform it, it feels like it fits me the way that Tommy does when I first listen to it.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
It, I mean, like perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to know what was the first like show that you remember seeing? Was it Tommy or was
This first show that I remember seeing, oh man, I remember seeing like Broadway or just anything.
like Broadway regionally and like any production?
The first production I remember seeing, there's this park in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, where I'm from, that puts on live
Oh,
musicals every year. And it was Peter Pan in about, I think it was like early 2000s. And I remember seeing that show. It's one of the first memories I have is sitting in that park and watching Peter Pan. Uh, so I remember that. And then the first Broadway show I saw was 11 years ago. We didn't come to New York a lot as kids, but like we came a couple times, and it was 2013 and I wanted to see Spider-Man. And my parents were like, we're going to take you to see the Phantom of the Opera.
oh,
And I was like, no, I don't want to go see that. I want to go see Spider-Man. Um, and they didn't tell me anything about the show. They said, just don't look at anything about the show.
right.
And so I sat down, and the first 3 minutes of the show are super boring. And I was like, damn, it's gonna be like this the whole time. It's quiet, it's whatever. And then, that chord hits and the chandelier dropped, and I was like, oh my God. So
It's exciting.
it's cool. It's cool going because we use the same alley as them. And it's been empty for the whole time we've been there, until now, until Gypsy's gonna start going in. So it's gonna be cool to see the Majestic Theater, open back up and have life in it again. And it's cool walking by the stage door, the Majestic, to work every day. The stage door to the Majestic is about 5 feet from our stage door.
Oh
So
my,
it's
kind of
really
a
cool
full
to
circle
walk by. Yeah,
for
definitely full
you.
circle. Yeah, for
Because
sure.
it's like, wow, this was like the first Broadway theater I came to as an
Yeah,
audience member.
absolutely.
Wow. And it's like such a Phantom is such a fascinating show. It does seem like it's like not going to be fun at
Right.
first, but it's so fascinating. Then you can't take your eyes off it.
Oh my God, I love it. I love
You're
it so
like,
much.
wait, whoa, what is
Yeah,
happening? And you're like
yeah,
totally into it.
absolutely. It's an incredible show.
So I saw you went to Boston
I
Conservatory.
did, yes.
What made you decide to go there, and what was the most like valuable lesson that you learned going to school there?
Um, so I'm from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, which is about 50 miles north of Boston. So my dad is from Boston area originally, grew up around Boston, and I wanted to go to school anywhere but in Boston. So I was like, I want to go to California. I want to go to somewhere far away, get me away from here. Um, but out of the programs that I ended up getting into, BOCO, I think was the most all around. And I knew people that went there, and I shadowed the training. And it looked like the most wholesome program to me as far as the training that you get. So, and it was also my freshman year was the first year of the merger between Boston Conservatory and the Berklee College of Music. And so that was really attractive to me as well because you could, you know, theoretically go into Berklee music libraries and, you go to Berklee classes, use recording studios and stuff like that. So as a guitar and trumpet player, that was very attractive to me. So it was pretty obvious that I was going to go to Boston Conservatory. I had a great time there. I had met some of the best educators that I've ever encountered and best friends that I will ever have. And my most important lesson that I learned there was to get really good at the thing that scares you most. I think if you're going to do this as a career, um, I think you have to really self-diagnose as a performer because they want you to do everything when you get here, man. So I think self-diagnosing as a performer is really important and being like, okay, I can sing and act. Like that's great. That's not going to go away. I'm still going to work on that. But when I am given, 32 counts of dance to learn in 3 minutes, then I start freaking out. I'm like, how do I not freak out in that moment? So I decided to minor in dance because it was my kind of my weaker of the three. Um, and again, I'm not, New York City ballet, like I'm not crazy, but I can hold my own in dance now. And so I cover a lot of tracks in the Outsiders where I have to dance. And that was my way into the show because I needed somebody who did that. And so yeah, in my junior year of college, I had no dance training at all. I hadn't taken a real professional ballet class. And I went up to Michelle Chassé, she's the head of musical theater dance at Boca. And I was like, I would like to be in your emphasis next year, and I will do anything it takes to leave this school as a dancer. And she put me in her most advanced ballet class, and I drowned for 6 months. And I took privates on Saturday and Sunday mornings before work, and I
Oh
got
my
there.
God.
So she helped me out so much. She's amazing.
Well, the determination was there. And like it makes sense that you're where you are
Thank you.
now when you speak about the effort you went to become a dancer.
Yeah. It's not easy. The technique is, I mean, always had rhythm. People have rhythm, but the technique is something you have to really study and pay attention to and put your body through to make comfortable.
Oh,
So
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. And you like have to like learn how to like act through movement too.
absolutely.
The whole other challenge of itself.
Yeah, 100%.
How do you think playing instruments has helped you with acting and singing?
Oh man. I long to play my instruments on stage soon. I really do. The next thing I do, I want to play instruments. I think just being versatile and I kind of pick up instruments quickly, and it's kind of like, I don't know, just being versatile as a human and as a musical performer outside of musical theater has made me, I think, better actor and singer. I think when you understand through an instrument how things work musically, uh like growing up playing guitar and playing trumpet and looking at jazz band charts and looking at um just charts of music vertically where I can see my part and I can see the trombones part and this part and whatever. I learned how to read scores like that, so I know where I fit in the middle of all that. Really helps me as a vocalist when I have to sing like the end of Throwing in the Towel. And then like for the matinee, I'll have to do Darrel, and then for the night show, I'll do Sodapop. And I'm like, oh, like those things aren't that hard for me because I think that way because I was raised that way on sheet music. So I know, I can see visually in my brain where Ponyboy's line is, where Darrel's line is, where Soda Pop's line is, and how those kind of coincide together. And it's not that hard for me to switch between vocal parts like that as a swing.
Yeah, that's not something that like that someone could easily do because I feel like especially with blocking, like that's
Yeah,
so hard to pick up
yeah,
people and confusing.
yeah.
Not everyone can be a swing and do what you're
Yes.
doing on stage. You're
Yes.
not, it's such a tough job, and I'm so glad it's fine. It's like getting the appreciation it's getting
Yeah,
within the theater community now.
absolutely.
So before I get into The Outsiders again,
Sure.
I want to talk about like a regional theater and like also like you did a world premiere of Karate Kid I saw, which is
Yes.
really cool.
Yeah.
What is your favorite show that you've been in regionally, like not in New York?
Hmm. Favorite show that I've been in regionally. Um, I would say I did a production of a chorus line this time last year, and I love a chorus line. It is so far from what I'm doing right now, and I love that. It's a chorus line is such a perfectly written musical. And I've done it twice, and each time I've done it, and it's not something I ever thought I would be able to do, um, because of my dance background. But then when I got through my college program, people started looking at me that way, and I think people excuse some uh, dance ability when you're an actor first, and they can have like an actor like that on stage. And so I kind of weaseled my way into two chorus lines. And the
Oh,
last one was really, really rewarding. I did it at the Rev upstate New York, and I met some amazing people. We have a group chat that we text maybe every week. Um, my Cassie I played Paul, and that was really rewarding for me to do that monologue and to find that within myself. And I'd never been cast as a Latino before. I'd never because you don't
God.
I don't read that way, but it's a huge part of my heritage, and my first language is Spanish. So somebody looked at me and cast me as Paul, and I was really excited about that. And the cast was Mark Kimmelman was our choreographer director, who was an amazing dance teacher in New York. And my Cassie was Carly DiNardo, who's an amazing dancer in the industry. So I got close to Carly, and she's an incredible human. Um, my Deanna Morales was Gabrielle Enriquez, who's also a Broadway performer. So it was this weird, and
Star power.
it was, everybody in the cast was top. And we were kind of up there like, how did we get this to happen? Like regionally in like October of like what everybody had like a break. Like Carly had a break. Gabby was about to do spam a lot. I was just about I got Outsiders of the month after I came back. Like so we had this brilliant, brilliant cast upstate. We just hung out every day and we did the show and we hung out. And there's something really beautiful about either an out of town tryout or a regional gig. Um, because it's like forced bonding. And while it's hard not to go home, you really lean on the people that are there with you. And if they're good people, you come out really good friends. There's something really sweet about doing a show and then going back to housing and hanging out and being in a town you don't know and exploring and then doing the show and bringing the show to a community too. It's really special. So I'm super thankful to be on Broadway right now and have the job that I have, but it was amazing to do that last year.
Oh my God. And like, I feel like you mentioned bringing a show to a community. And
Yeah,
like, oh, when I was typing this question, I was like, what's cool about regional theater is that like Broadway, people are coming from all over the world to see
right.
you. But with regional theater, you're kind of creating that theater fan that
Absolutely.
travels to New York City to go to
Absolutely.
more Broadway shows.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're really from my experience, the regional audiences when they get performers like the ones that we had in Chorus Line, they're so grateful.
Oh yeah.
And they love that you're in their town and they go out of their way to make you feel welcome. And it's a really, it's a really beautiful thing.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Speaking of beautiful things and like great a great fan base. So The Outsiders, you as I mentioned, you recently made your Broadway debut in The Outsiders, and
Yes.
you're a swing and you play multiple roles in the show, multiple lead roles, which is just like I can't fathom. What was your audition process for the show like? You mentioned kind of like the interview process earlier.
Yeah. I have been in preliminary, like in a preliminary kind of way for the show a good amount of times, dating back to right after Karate Kid in 2022. So I kept meeting the casting team and everything works out for a reason and everything works out for in its own time. And I sent in dance videos meant for the casting team in 2022, wasn't quite a fit. And then they wanted me in for the workshop, and I was like, I can't make the audition. I'm working somewhere else. And so it was just kind of it kept like meeting and not happening, meeting and not happening. And then a couple auditions down the line in October of last year, they were looking for, offstage covers, and I saw one that, had to do Darrel and Sodapop and maybe be a strong dancer. And so I was like, all right, it's getting close to, time they're gonna send out offers. So I was like, this has got to be it. So I put all my eggs into that basket and really went. Once I got past the dance audition, which was amazing, the Coopermans were there, and Tilly, who I'm not now very close to, was teaching partnering in that dance audition. I remember it vividly. Once I got past that, they gave me all the material for Darrel and Soda Pop, and I spent the most time I've ever spent on any audition and maybe any characters, period, on that material. And I just tore it apart. I looked at it every which way. And yeah, wrote down everything of these, like I just tore it apart. So that when I went in there to audition for Danya, it wouldn't, I don't know, it would just be relaxed response and I wouldn't be thinking about anything.
No
So
anxiety.
what was that?
No anxiety.
Yeah, well, I mean, a little bit, but
Always.
um, but yeah, after I got the material, I auditioned for the casting director, and then after the casting director audition, I auditioned for Danya and Miranda. Miranda, our assistant director, who's amazing. And then after that audition, I auditioned for them one more time with the producers in the back of the room. And yeah, so those were the auditions. They were more like work sessions, and I had so much material to get through that if I like once I got past the first thing, I was like, all right, I'm chilling. Like I'm gonna be here for 45 minutes because I got like three songs to sing, three
Okay.
side. Um, but no, Danya was I had a good feeling from the first time I saw her in the room. We connected on a really cool level. And she made me feel so comfortable in the audition. And I almost, after that first time I saw her, I was almost like, I feel like I've got this, but if I don't, that was beautiful. And that was enough to carry me through to the next thing. Because if somebody like that, you know, and I read up on her and I saw what she did with, Passover. I saw her show and I was a big fan of her. And I was like, if somebody like that can tell me she respects me in the room and thank me for my time, then whatever comes out of this is beautiful. And so I ended up working out, and yeah, that was it. That was almost a year ago, which is crazy.
Time,
It's
like,
wild.
I feel like really flies when you think about it, though.
Man, that's crazy that it was almost a year ago. Yeah,
Oh,
it's wild.
wow. And like so much has happened since for you
So much. Yes.
too. So, how like how going in do you like uh, prepare to like memorizing character's each character?
Yeah.
It's your process because you mentioned that you're like really good at separating the
Yeah.
roles, which
Yeah.
isn't something people like. That's not a strength a lot of people have.
Yeah, right. I feel really grateful, and though I wasn't a part of it at La Jolla or in Daryl Roth in the workshops, I got to watch this version of it, the final quote unquote version of it, be built in the rehearsal space for 4 weeks. So I'm really grateful for that time. If I were to be asked to do my job now and been thrown in, like if somebody, comes in and has a similar coverage like that I do right now, like that would be a different thing. Because I just have to watch the show, watch the show, watch the show with no stoppage. Because for 4 weeks I got to watch, 10 seconds be built and stop. And 10 seconds be built and stop. So that was super helpful. And I was just taking copious notes. I had my iPad and I have a I have a file for every character. And then in that character file, there's a file for every single number that they do or scene. Scenes are a little easier, but especially for dance numbers or fight choreography, I wrote them all like football charts. So every character has a color. So I would write, like the first 30 seconds of the opening number. Sodapop is blue. It's here to here, X, and then I would like put in a little, lyric marker here by this, and then here to here. And then after that, I would write verbally what is in the chart. So Sodapop enters over the red car, he goes down on here, he meets whatever, like, and so I did that with every character. And that took a couple weeks. And after I did that with every character, um, and I would look back at rehearsal footage at night and, do it over and over. After I did it with every character, I just watched the show and then I rehearsed it in my head, basically. And was in like would do meditations where I would walk through the show as Darrel because I didn't get any rehearsal time or put in before I debuted 5 of my 6 tracks.
Oh my
So,
God.
um, so I knew that was going to happen. And I knew I wanted to be ready for the moment. And I was like, no, I don't need rehearsal. So I had about a 15-minute fight call before I did Darrel for the first time, and that was it. Because I rehearsed it so many times in my head that I knew how it was gonna. I tried to replicate how it would feel on that stage and just go through it mentally, so that when I did it for the first time, it didn't feel out of body.
Oh my God. How, like, when you go on stage and perform it for the first time without a rehearsal, what's it like with all like the gravel on stage too? Like, does that throw you off at all?
Yeah, I mean that first performance, I blacked out. I can't. My body took over. I had done it so many times in a meditative state that I went through the motions and I did what I needed to do, but I can't remember it. Just because it was the Tuesday after opening night,
God.
and I had like 2 hours notice. and it was just like, I don't know. I couldn't think about it too hard because it's just like this checklist thing on your career that's about to happen. And it's not just Broadway debut, it's a Broadway debut and principal debut in one. And it was
Right.
like, go. And I couldn't, I don't know. I didn't know what happened that
I mean,
night.
and you have like outsiders fan accounts posting about the
Right,
debut, the day is
right,
happening, and like
right.
posting the slip and like
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
on today.
Yeah, I couldn't think about that. So I just I did what I had to do. And I mean I've been in the show so many times that it's so comfortable in any role that I have to do. But that first time was crazy. I will never forget my girlfriend, who is also a Broadway performer. She's in cabaret. Um, she
Explain.
uh she was like, you're gonna feel like you got hit by a bus after, because there's so much adrenaline from this career thing that you're doing. I couldn't go to sleep, and it's true. I felt like I got hit by a bus the next morning. I was like, oh my God. But yeah, it was amazing.
Now, have you all gotten to see each other in your shows?
Yes, I've seen her a couple times. She's an understudy for Sally Bowles.
Ooh,
So her name is Gabby Campo.
oh,
Um, and so I've got to see her a couple times. I've seen her in her ensemble track, and I've gotten to see her as Sally. She's amazing in both. Um,
oh,
and she's rehearsing right now. I'm gonna go see her again with Adam Lambert because I'm so excited to see Adam Lambert in the show.
yes.
Because I'm a rock music fan. When I heard he was going to the show, I was like, a marketing job did their team because I want to go back.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm
Oh,
excited to see. She has some Sally dates coming up again, with Adam Lambert, and I'm gonna freak out. I'm so
stop.
excited. Yeah,
That's so cool. Y'all are both slaying on Broadway. Like,
it's really a privilege. It's really cool that we get to do this together and with somebody who
yeah.
understands, schedule and what it feels like, what it looks like. So yeah, that's really cool.
Oh my God. What a dream.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, at what point of the rehearsal process do you start, like inside your head even, do you start making each character kind of your own in the show? Because you're Darrel, you're Sodapop, you're Paul, and then you're three other tracks in the show.
Right. Um, I think it's not for me. It's not about like consciously making it my own, but just letting it be my own. One of our former, it sucks to say former castmates now, but Kevin Solak, he was in the show for a while. He's amazing. One we circle up before every show, and he read this like, um, actor's creed one time, and it was about, I will be myself, and I will. The most beautiful part about what I do is that I will strive to be myself on stage. I will be nothing but myself. I'll be my, in all the errors of my humanity and all the beautiful things that I do. I will be myself. And so that's what I try to remember when I do any of those characters. It would be, I don't try to put too much on. And it would be silly of me because I watched the show for so many times. It'd be silly of me not to take the best of what everyone does. So, like, of course, there's some moments that I got to watch Brent so often, and I got to watch Jason so often, and they've built these tracks, and so mine isn't, 180-degree different. It's me with some of their moments, some of my moments. It's me. That's what I try to think. I don't try to create or put on too much. And that's what Danya and I had been working on when I debuted my last character, when I debuted Sodapop, which is my last in the six. I was doing a lot, and she was like, just let's just what does it look like if you were to play more you in this role? And then we found my Sodapop
Yes.
through just allowing me to permeate a little bit more. Uh, and I really enjoyed that process. And yeah, so that's what I try to think of a lot.
It's wild that you're playing both the brothers.
Yeah.
You get like two vantage points
Yes.
in
Dan
the
Barry does as
show.
well. Dan Barry and I.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
yeah. And Brent played Paul in La Jolla. So we have to get a picture of the three of us doing the Spider-Man thing at some point. Um,
Oh my God, you
because
must
yeah, yeah.
the
Um,
meme.
but yeah, Dan Barry has the same, Soda Pop um Darrel coverage that I do as well. So we talk about it all the time. And he'll be going on for something, or I'll be going on for like I did a bunch of Darrel before he did any Darrel, and
Yeah.
he did a bunch of Sodapop before I did any Sodapop. So his first Darrels, he was like, all right, what's this part in the split? Like, can you help me here? And in my first Sodapops, I was like, hey, what do you move in this moment? Like, it was really great to have somebody that knows what that split coverage is like in the building. So yeah, we have yet to have our first brother show together, but I hope it's soon.
Hey, manifest.
Yeah, right.
Have you had, do you know if there's fans who have seen you in both the Darrel track and the Soda Pop track?
Yes, there are many. Yes, yes, there are fans
Oh
who
my
have done
God.
that. Yeah,
That's, I mean, that's so cool to have like people like
yeah,
message you and be like, I've seen you in this role and now I've seen you in this role.
yeah. It's super cool. I'm glad we have so many repeat offenders at the Outsiders.
Right?
Uh, it's awesome to see people want to bring their families back and they want to come back with their friends, and it's really cool. That people would want to experience the show again. It's just so beautiful. So yeah, I have a lot of people that are like, "Hey, I saw you this last week," or I was like, "Oh, I saw you 3 weeks ago," and I have to be like, "Who was I on for? I don't even remember."
You're like, it's a blur.
Yeah, I
I
was
don't
like,
know what
"Tell me,"
happened.
because I don't know.
You're like, I'm just trying my best to
Yeah, yeah,
cover all
exactly.
these roles. So, uh, did you know the hype going in based on like the book and the movie? And had you watched the movie or read the book before auditioning? I'm curious. I didn't get to that.
I didn't. I wasn't given the book to read in high school or in middle school. It wasn't part of our curriculum. Um,
Interesting.
So I didn't know the story. When I went to audition, I watched the movie. When I got further into auditions, I did read the book, and then I reread the book after I got the part and all my rules. And I read the book, and I had a big color coded like page marker system where I would go in, and the top of the book was marked with this for Darrel, and this was marked with blue for Soda Pop, so that if I had to go into any one of those roles and I had to ground myself in the text, I could go to the book and then flip through blue or flip through red.
So
But
smart.
I didn't know the story before really being part of the project, and I kind of enjoyed that. I didn't have a really
Nothing
so
to
I
go.
didn't really know the hype, to be honest with you. I knew it was an important story to the American culture. I knew people it's a it's a really important piece of text for young adults in this country and for people who have grown up in this country. Um, I knew that, but I didn't have a personal tie to it until I became part of it. And so I watched the movie kind of just like a little bit through before one of the auditions, and then I didn't watch it again. I didn't really want to watch the movie. Uh,
It's a lot
because that's yeah, it's a lot different.
different.
It's a lot different, and the movie is great. I sometimes I think it's challenging to see literal physical representation, and then
Go to the stage and
and then exactly. So
yeah.
for me, it was better to really dig into the book, and because there's more room to fill in the blanks with yourself and with the show and whatever. So I anchored in the book, and Danya, our director, was very adamant about anchoring in Susie's text and in the book. And the movie's great and it has its own place too, but we're anchoring in the book. And so when I heard that, I was like, okay, so this is obviously what I have to go through. But yeah, I wasn't really, aware fully of the hype surrounding the piece. And I don't know what the expectation was when we arrived on Broadway. I'm not sure it was. I don't.
Doubt it. There
I'm
was
not
an
sure.
expectation to having read the material because it's like different everywhere.
Right. Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Um. But yeah. Yeah. I came to it kind of fresh, which was cool.
No, and it gives. I feel like it's cool to have some people who like know the story and some
Yeah.
people who are like, this is all brand new to me
Yes.
because like I mean, there's also fans who know the story and there's fans who or have like seen like the comparison to maybe like Newsies hype and
Right.
stuff and are coming because of that.
Right.
So, and I think that I've talked to a lot of friends on the East Coast, and like no one on the East Coast has read the book, which is really interesting.
Interesting.
So
Wow.
I'm from Texas, and
Okay.
I did read it in school, but I think it might have been like a Southern thing.
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't read it in school. I don't, that's funny. Maybe it was an East Coast thing.
Yeah, I don't
Interesting.
know. It's like different. There's some people who just like don't know it all and like didn't know it was a book or something, and I'm like,
Right.
how?
Right. Yeah.
It's
Funny.
wild to me.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you kind of like blacked out during the Broadway debut,
Yeah.
but how did you prepare for that day to make your Broadway debut? Like, what do you do when you wake up and you're like, I'm going on? Like,
I didn't know until I was walking to the theater. Yeah. So I had thought my day was gonna go. I thought the day was coming at some point, but that's the interesting thing about being understudy. Um,
you never know.
I woke up and I was like, all right, nothing's happened. It's o'clock before the show. I'm like, all right. I went to the gym. I got a smoothie and then I'm walking. Dude, I'm literally turning onto 45th Street.
Okay.
And they're like, yeah, so can you do it? And I was like, okay. And I took a second and I was like, yes, I can do it. And they're like, great. And I didn't rehearse like anything. I didn't go on stage and like I was like, what's the point? I can't possibly my emotional system and my adrenaline was running so fast. I was like, I cannot possibly look at everything right now in the show and go through every moment. So I just sat in the house because I knew I'd done it so many times in here and I'd gone through the text so many times. I'm like,
You're like, yeah.
I know it. It was just the moment that I was like, oh my God. And I
It's
called my
not.
mom and I was sitting in the house and I talked to my mom. She really calmed me down and gave me some really beautiful perspective. And I grounded myself in the house. And then I talked to Danya for like 15 minutes. She came to the theater. We talked through some stuff. And that's it. I'm glad it happened that way. I'm glad I didn't have a whole day of like, oh my God, it's today, it's today, it's today. I'm glad I got to rip the Band-Aid off. Um, yeah. So that's how it happened.
Oh my gosh. Wouldn't it be funny if like you were like walking to the theater and like didn't get like the text or call, you just saw your name on the board?
Yeah, that would be wild. Yeah, that would be wild.
You're like, wait, what?
Yeah, right, right.
That'd be an interesting way to find out.
Yeah, totally.
So, what character that you understudy do you think that you're most like, and how?
Man, I think I'm a pretty good split between the brothers. I really do.
I I get the vibe.
I'm not like I definitely have a lot of Darrel in me as like a caretaker and like an older brother. I have a little sister. I have a lot of friends and like people that I like have dad energy towards. I'm always like the group organizer. I'm like, all right, everyone's good. Like I'm always making sure. So I definitely have a lot of Darrel and that in me. Um, and I always kind of feel older than my actual age. So that Darrel for sure. I wish I was completely as carefree as Sodapop. He's not completely carefree. I think he just masks a lot of his feeling with that carefree sentiment. But yeah, I think maybe a little more Darrel and Sodapop, but I think I'm somewhere in the middle, to be honest with you. Um, yeah, yeah, somewhere in the middle.
I would love to see your take on Soda Pop, but I agree you had great dad energy on stage as
Yeah.
well.
Thanks. Thank
And
you.
I was like, he is really dang good at playing this role.
Thank you.
Like
Appreciate it.
it seemed like you play it every day.
Yeah, I had to
Sure.
I never had rehearsal as Darrel. I still haven't had rehearsal as Darrel. So I guess I guess Danya trusted me and I did it. I have never had rehearsal, so I think that one was a little easier to get to for me. And to play, I guess, younger, even though they're both younger, to play younger Soda Pop in physicality and the way I carry myself and everything. We got to it, but it did take some because I was so
No.
used to doing the other. It took some work sessions with Danya, which I'm so happy that I got. Because I never got to rehearse anything. But then, a month ago, I started rehearsing with her for that final role that I had to do. And I was like, oh my God, this is so fun, like rehearsal. What a crazy idea. So,
You're like, oh,
yeah,
good
right. I know.
concept.
So, so I had fun doing that. But yeah, I think a split, maybe a little more Darrel. I wish I was a little more like Sodapop, but a good split, I think.
Broadway producers are gonna watch this, and if they ever need someone without a rehearsal in a show,
Yeah, right.
they're gonna just call you up and be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, so we need someone to go on today."
Right, right. Yeah.
No
Yeah.
pressure.
I like rehearsal though. I can do it, but I love rehearsal.
I mean, I don't blame you. I would like rehearsal too. So you like know what you're doing and like where you're walking on stage beforehand.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like the especially for the Rumble scene.
Oh my
Like,
God, yeah.
holy crap! Like
Yeah.
that's insane. The choreography
Yes.
and stuff. I can't imagine ever doing that.
Yeah.
Um, what is learning something like that like?
Awesome. I'm a third degree black belt in Taekwondo, and my whole family grew up doing martial arts. So I went to the dojang and learned from a very traditional grandmaster who's from South Korea. Basically, like
Yeah.
raised me after school every day, 4 times a week. And so my mom is a fifth degree, my dad is a fourth degree, my sister's a second degree. So learning that like vocabulary was very comfortable with me. So it actually is easier for me than like dance steps. I'm like, this makes total sense. Um, so yeah, it was really cool to see that part of me make it in onto the stage and be comfortable in that aspect of the show.
Maybe I'm wrong because I don't really know a lot about football, but it's kind of like a choreographed football scene in a way too,
Yeah, yeah,
where like a planned out football scene.
totally, totally.
So I want to ask, would you rather be a greaser or a Soch in real life, and why?
In real life, oh man, I'd rather be Reese in real life.
Right. That's
Yeah,
such
and
a good
why
answer.
I think they have a little more of the important things than the socials do. I think they have uh more kinship, more brotherly love than the
Right.
socials do. The socials have their own kind of way about around those things, but I would rather be a greaser.
Oh yeah. They have
Yeah,
like the life experience
right.
and
Exactly.
all the hardships. They've been through it.
Exactly.
They've been through it. And like socials probably have too, but
Right. Right.
do you have a favorite moment in like song in the show, moment in the show as each character that you play in the show?
Um, I like I like throwing in the towel as soda pop. Um, I like Runs in the Family one as Darrel.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's Runs in the Family one as Darrel is really cool because you close that car hood and you get one chord, and then you basically don't have. It's just you and the music director on the screen, and you get to just sink into. That's the first time I really hear you sing,
The emotion.
and you get to sink into I don't know, that really the pocket of that song, which is really, really fun, which is dun, dun, it's really just in the pocket and you get to it's just you, and that's really cool. You don't get that a lot on a Broadway stage, so that's really cool. Um for throwing in the towel, I love being soda pop more than Darrel and throwing in the towel. I mean, because you get to kind of save the day emotionally, which is great. But I got to do it. I haven't done it with Daniel, but I've done it with Brent. And I only debuted Soda Pop in August, and because I'm Brent's understudy and have been going on for him
Yeah.
I had never acted with Brent. I had never acted with Brent like that. And so we got to that day. I was like, oh my God, we never acted together like since March.
Brothers.
We've never had a moment like that. And so I got to have a few shows with him that week. And that was so rewarding. It was so cool to act with him. And the fact that we hadn't really done a scene together in, you know, the 7 months that we had known each other. And we finally got to do that was really, really cool.
Fun.
And throwing in the towel was really rewarding the first time I sang it with him. Our voices matched really in a cool way.
Oh my God,
Um,
I can imagine.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Our voices matched in a really cool way, and we had a lot of fun together. So yeah,
With Runs in the Family, that song is so cool to listen to because like you get the whole story of Darrel kind of like hacked
totally,
into one song. It's so genius.
totally, absolutely,
And all the emotion too.
yeah,
Like
100%.
is it hard to display the emotion or is it pretty easy for you to display all the emotion when you sing the lyrics?
Um, it's become easier. I think for me, it's like he's he's not gonna like open up and just like tell everybody everything. It's like displaying the emotion through the struggle of the everyday work that he's doing and the laundry basket that's there and seeing the boys come in and displaying his frustration a little bit while not giving it all away because I don't think he would. Um, yeah, but the song is, I love it, but the song is kind of difficult because it sits in this really interesting place in the voice where you have to, all the ends of the phrases go up, and it's in like the middle of my range, in the middle of Brent's too. And so when you get it, it's really cool. But the first couple times, it's definitely a challenge. Yeah,
Oh my gosh. It's,
yeah.
I mean, it's so good, and you did such a good job singing
Thank
that.
you, thank you.
So, sheesh. Wow. Um, what's your favorite like staging in the show? Because there's so much cool staging, and it's throughout the show, honestly. Like the tire, the car. Like,
My favorite staging in the show is probably Little Brother when we're all looking up at Dally and he's breaking the windows or the whatever. I mean, the planks out of the wall. I think that's really, really cool staging. I think it works on so many levels to see everybody in the company looking up at him, having his last moments of like life, basically, and shuddering away at even the choreography is, looking away at somebody who is going through something really tough. That and my second favorite moment of staging is Pony and Soda on the car when they talk about their parents dying in a car crash. They're sitting on a car.
when you're like in the
So
scene, do you have to
yeah.
like stop yourself? Like when you're like in the background of a scene that's emotional, do you have to stop yourself from just bawling on stage?
Um, yeah, I sometimes it's not stopping myself, but I still have a job to do. And I think if I really, you know, I don't know, it's not so pop in that moment wouldn't give it. I think it helps that I love my brother so much and he's going through something so tragic and dreaming about my parents that I want to, but he can't afford to. He cannot afford to.
Has to be strong.
Uh yeah, he has to be strong. And you can of course let people aren't strong all the time. You can show the cracks of that, but he can't afford to let his brother know he's feeling the exact same way as him. He does in a little moment, and saying I miss him a lot too. But other than that, his job is to be the mediator and be the person who smiles. When Ponyboy introduces Sodapop, saying he smiles even when he probably shouldn't, and that's his thesis statement for the show. Smiles even when he probably shouldn't. So on the car, he probably wants to hug his brother and cry, but he's going to smile and he's going to tell a joke about flying saucers and hamburgers instead.
Right.
So,
He's gonna be like try to be positive.
right. So it's not, so I just try to stick to that kind of thesis statement for him, which is a good anchor.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. So I can't not mention the Tony Awards, the 12 tone the like you all got nominated for so much. When
Yeah.
was the moment that you were like, this is actually a possibility that we're gonna get nominated for a bunch of Tony Awards and we might win Best Musical?
I think it was always, I think we knew from the beginning, to be completely honest with you. People who have been with the production much longer than I have, for years, had a feeling. And then I've watched everybody, including myself, everybody who gets introduced to the production and the team and the group of people have like an aha moment of like, oh wow, this is really special. For me, it happened like second day into rehearsal. We were doing a vocal warm up, and our brilliant associate music director, Mark Meadows, was leading like crazy vocal warm up where we were just all singing different notes and we were harmonizing and raising the key, and it was this like spiritual thing, and my got to me. I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what I'm supposed to be. We hadn't even done much material yet, and I was like, this is amazing. And I don't know, it's like the material is great, don't get me wrong, the music is great, the dance steps and the fight choreography is great, but the common belief across everyone who's ever worked on this thing that it's special and that people are going to leave the theater inexplicably
Feeling.
feeling better, that I think is what carried us over the top. Is that everybody, top to bottom, knew that this was going to be something good because we decided it.
Yes.
Um, yeah, yeah,
I
basically
mean,
that.
I think it's a good sign when it introduces people to the story that like
Yeah,
you've done your job. When like people are like reading this for the first time because they just saw the
right,
musical too.
right. Yeah,
Like that's pretty dang awesome.
yeah.
Uh do you have is there an actor from the movie who hasn't come to the show yet? I know some of them have because I was there when one of them came, I think. Um But is there an actor from the movie who you would be the most starstruck to meet if they came to see the show?
Yeah, if Tom Cruise came to see the show, that would be kind of crazy.
Oh my God. That'd be
If Tom Cruise came to the show, I'd be very starstruck.
honestly, he should. Like,
Yeah,
I want to manifest that. I'll be so excited if he goes to see it.
yeah.
Like, how do you like the show, Tom? He should vlog it too. No,
Yeah, absolutely.
all the things. And also, I have to ask fan moments. Do you have a favorite stage door moment thus far?
Um, yeah, somebody was sitting next to my girlfriend's dad, and she thought it was my father because he was cheering so loudly when I went on for Darrel once, and she sent me the video.
Oh my
She's like,
God.
"This must be your dad." I was like, "It's not, but this is, it's my, father-in-law, quote unquote." Like, this is great. This is so awesome. So she sent me the video of him like, um,
This is so
cheering for me when I came out to battle. So that was really cool.
Oh my gosh. And
Yeah.
how would you convince people? I don't think it needs much convincing. How would you convince people to come see The Outsiders on Broadway?
Oh man. It's a story. It's a story for everyone, man. If you've ever had a sibling, if you've ever had a parent, if you've ever had a best friend, I mean, it's just,
Crunch.
I think it's one of the only shows on Broadway that truly centers around familial love and not romantic love. There is a dropper of that, but it's not about that. It's really about, um, familial love, brotherly love, love between people who need each other to continue and who are different and need to understand each other. And there's not much, romance about it. And I think that's beautiful. It's family love. It's yeah,
It,
yeah, love between people who know each other and need each other.
yeah, it's like everyone taking care of each other
Exactly. Yeah.
on that stage is really cool. Like
Yeah.
even the socials do that too.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
awesome. It's like they're portrayed as like kind of I wouldn't say villains as like antagonists and but like
Yeah.
they still take care of each other.
Yes. In this story, yes. But Susie Hinton, when she's writing The Outsiders, when she says The Outsiders, she does not mean the greasers. She's talking about everybody. Everybody's an outsider at some point in their life and feels that way at any given moment. So it's not just the greasers, it's a group of young adults who are trying to find their way given their upbringing and given circumstances, that feel kind of out of place.
Yes. Oh my God. It's so cool that you all are like involved with the writer of the book. So
Yeah,
it's like hear her thought process while she was writing the book and kind of like bring that to the stage too.
absolutely. Yeah.
That's just like mind blowing and super cool. My last outsiders question I need to ask is, do you have something you're looking forward to, like a bucket list item? Because I know like Thanksgiving parade is coming up.
Yeah,
All
I hope we get to do
stuff.
that. I don't know. We're not confirmed for that yet. I really think we have a good chance.
I think
Um,
so.
I think we do. That would be really cool. I grew up watching that every morning, every Thanksgiving morning, and like waking up and watching it with my family.
Oh my
So that
God.
would be really, really cool. I would really enjoy that.
I mean, you all get to do like all the things like album, like
Yeah,
all the GMA,
yeah.
day show, all that. Like get
Oh
all
yeah,
the coverage and
yeah,
it's like a bucket list moments
yeah. That would be
that
really
you're
cool.
checking off. So I like manifesting dream roles. What are some of your dream roles in theater? And like, would you ever, since you're a musician, would you ever like want to like be in a show with original music that you write or something?
Yeah, I would. A dream role. I want to do like so. I want to do like a classic musical. I would love to do a classic musical.
Ooh.
Um, I
Maybe
like Kadai and She Loves Me. I love She Loves Me. Do you know She Loves Me?
yes, kind of.
Yeah,
Kind of.
Gavin Creel played it last on
Definitely
Broadway.
a classic.
I love that musical. Um, dream role. Anything in Les Mis. I love Les Mis.
Oh my God, yes.
Um,
I need like
Roger and Rent. Love to play Roger.
I could see it. I can
Yeah,
definitely see that.
would love to.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Les Mis, Rent, yes. Like, come on. Both need to be like we need revivals on Broadway too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's
So
go.
soon. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I'm glad Les Mis is on tour always because I'm on the West Coast, so like
Yes.
he's like coming back and it's just like I watched it over and over again
Yeah.
till I could see it live. So it's one of those shows.
Amazing. It's so good.
So special. It's kind of dark, but it's like but it's
Yes.
cool. Um how do you work on self-confidence in this industry? Because it takes like so much, I feel like, confidence to be in your position where I mean, it's a struggle for everyone, but
Yeah. I think just because we're in this industry in this position doesn't mean we don't deal with that still.
yes.
Um, but I think you are you. And when I guess when I do a role or there's nobody who can do exactly what I can do. And there's nobody who can do exactly what, you know, Brent can do or what Jason can do or what Henry can do or, Bart. There's nobody who can do exactly what every single person in our company can do. And I think that's liberating, especially when we understudy different roles and we go into different things. The confidence that I am there because they needed me and my castmate is there because they needed them. That takes me a long way. Um, yeah, yes, the confidence that, and that's really, I don't know if everyone feels like that in every Broadway show, especially like long running ones where maybe people, get in after a couple years or whatever, but our director really made us feel that way, to every single person in the company, and that it was vital that every single person was there. Um, and that without one puzzle piece of the people that we have in that building, it wouldn't have worked. And she made us feel that way. And then, in turn, we all keep each other in that same regard, and we all appreciate each other like that. It's a very well built. We have a really, really good foundation at the Jacobs, where I think people, of course, go through moments of uncertainty and of insecurity, but at the end of the day, they know they're there because it had to be them and no one else.
And I'm glad you mentioned puzzle piece because I really do think like Broadway shows are kind of like yes, it's also a business, but like it's also like who fits that particular puzzle and
Right,
who fits into the cast I mean for long running shows who fits in at the time.
right, exactly.
Like you never know.
Right,
And sometimes it takes time to in every path
totally,
get where you want to go.
absolutely.
But it's like never giving up thing, even though it's hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, where can people follow you on social media to keep up with what you're doing, to keep up with when you're on? Because I know people like to come see the show and see like different people on. Like that's one of my favorite things. I ran into
Yeah,
the other day.
absolutely. My social media, I run Instagram. I'm slowly starting on TikTok. I don't, I'm learning. My girlfriend is teaching me. Um,
Yes.
but my Instagram is at Victor C. Tracy. So VICTORC, the letter C,
Ooh.
Tracy, TRACEY, at Victor C. Tracy. And if you send me a DM, I can send you, I have a text blast of when I go on.
Oh my god,
So
that's so
yeah,
smart.
yeah. So I have it's like an app called Remind, and it's like a lot of teachers use it.
Like that's
Um, so I
awesome.
created a classroom, and you text a number, and then you're in. And then whenever I go on, I just send out update, time, and roll. And yeah, that's the way I do it.
That's so smart because I feel like there definitely has to be like people monitoring that and being like, "Oh wait, I need to see you in this track
Yeah, yeah.
today."
There a bunch of really awesome fans who've come to see the show on a moment's notice because of that text blast. So yeah, if you want
That's
to be a part of that, just send me a DM. I will try my darndest to get back to you with that code so you can come and see the show.
dang. I'm not in New York, but I should do that just like the next time I'm in New York, just in case.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, do you have before I wrap up, do you have anything else that you'd want to promote, or do you just want to tell people to come see The Outsiders on Broadway?
Come see the Outsiders on Broadway. Follow me on Instagram. Follow all the beautiful people on our show. I would like to promote just um gratefulness and kindness across the board. Um, it sounds very cheesy and cliche, but we're all very grateful in our jobs. We're super, super grateful at that theater, and we're grateful for all of you that come to the show. We really are. We wouldn't be able to do it without the following that we have, and we are just, I can speak for everybody. We're so thankful to be in the position that we're in. And thank you for reaching out to do this interview and talking with so many of us. I know you talked with a couple other folks, and we appreciate um, the way you guys are receiving and holding our show. It's amazing. And we are indebted to everybody that's listening to the album, coming to the show, or even just keeping us in your thoughts. It's really, really amazing. So we thank you for that. And thank you.
Of course, of course. I was when I heard this was coming to Broadway, I was just so excited, and the reciprocation is so beautiful from all of you.
Yeah,
So, I mean, honestly, from a fan, thank you all for that.
absolutely.
Thanks for watching this episode of Backstage with Becca B. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B Talks TV. Or for more exclusive content from this interview and more, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Backstage with Becca B. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video. Or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, go ahead and give me a 5-star rating. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!